Hast du jetzt gerade schon gewürfelt gehabt?
Ja, ja, du hast nur 6.
Oh. Danke. Ich glaub, dann will ich
So, if Niels is still here, or Uwe, one of you has to restart Skype, or has to restart call, because the video feed is frozen.
Das hat Kamera ein bisschen. Das ist der Kollege, der castet.
Da castet jemand noch?
Ja.
Lol, wie geil ist das denn?
Ich hatte vorher als Kasachstan und Kanada. Die Frage ist, was will ich ziehen, um gegen dich zu gewinnen?
Ein Tron. Ja, den Platinum Angel ist ziemlich schwer zu removen. Da brauche ich, ja gut, da brauche ich Ulamog für. Also auf lange Sicht kann ich halt alles handeln, aber die Frage ist halt, ob du mich vorher mein Saver locken kannst.
Genau. Ich halte es mal.
Geht noch 6.
Wer spielt denn noch? Björn muss jetzt auch. Musst du los?
Ja, das halte ich. Ja. Ach Leute, ich bin auf 7 gegangen. Ich krieg einfach eine drauf. Okay. Darf ich überhaupt was?
Ja.
Den Booster.
Ich teste auch.
Scrolling close. Bumm.
Ist der weg? Ja, okay.
Jo, ciao. Auch nicht schlecht.
Hallo. Hallo, hallo, hallo. Ich höre dich nicht, falls du was sagst. I'm assuming I'm live.
Hier wieder alles.
Ja. Perfekt. Okay, I'm back.
Ja, ich habe das Mikrofon vorher gemutet.
So, we see Blue Tron versus Mono Black Eldrazi. I didn't get to see the first few turns because it was stepped out of the room. I think there's one first. Is there 2 firsts in the Blue Tron player's hand? You see a Condescend against the Strangler, Scry 2. Bottom and top. And that's the waste I was talking about earlier. That's the pretty one. And how could I possibly mistake the other card for that? I mean, it's full art. End of turn first knowledge. Yeah, he had 2 first knowledge in his hand. And he discards Talisman. He has an Expedition map in his hand. And that should be Tron for him. I'm just not sure if he can use that in a good way. Uses map immediately. Gets the tower, which is his last piece. And he's playing white borderlands all around, which is really nice, which is like way better than playing expeditions. So the opponent uses his own expedition to get a temp. No, that's a ghost quarter, right? Yeah, that's a ghost quarter. So assuming you will use the ghost quarter on the tower. That's what he does. So Uwe taps the tower, gets an island. Now he has 5 mana. He could Snapcaster first here, which would be really good use of his mana, and also get a chump blocker, or actually something that would trade with Breach Shaper. Instead he plays Spatial Contortion.
Whoa. Okay.
He has still 1 mana in his pool. And he first. Also very nice use of his mana. That's his first. No, hang on. That's the second first knowledge, of course. Yes. That's the second first knowledge. Discards island, I think. Certainly 2 lands. And in his hand he has 2 Tron lands, 1 Spatial Contortion. Repeal? This Skype thing is horrible. It's so. I think that's repeal, but it's so pixelated. It's really hard to tell. I mean, we're gonna have to try to find another way to stream this video feed to me, because Skype is really not working out. But that's the third first now, and it's insane. You drew so many cards. Discards a mine and an island, so he seems to be flooding out quite a bit here. He found a tower, plays tower, taps 3 mana for Fabricate. So this could be really interesting. It could be Chalice on 1. It could be Mindslaver, it could be Wonka Engine, it could be Painter's Servant, which I don't think he would be playing main. Let's see what he gets. I have no idea what that is.
Ich stelle mir gerade eine essentielle Frage im Leben. Ist es gerade egal, ob ich den Tron zerstöre?
Oh, is that a Better Skull? Is that the ugly artwork of Better Skull, maybe? No, it's a Wonka engine. It's super pixelated. It's ridiculous. But he got a Wonka engine, yes. So opponent is hitting him with a 4/4, so he actually needs to do something about that, and opponent finds a Blight Herder. But Womka Engine should take care of that, actually, quite well. The only problem is that you cannot really attack into your opponent here, because he would block with a Scion and then sack the Scion, and then you wouldn't gain any life. And that's the 4th. That's his last first knowledge. It's ridiculous. He drew 12 cards on the first knowledge this game. And he discards the Talisman to that. So, taps Warm call, I assume. Yes.
Müsste doch gar nicht gewesen sein. Du hast mir gerade die Hand gezeigt, dann habe ich das nur Bridge gesehen. Das ist dann wahrscheinlich auch
He still has 3 mana open. So if he had a 5th first, he could cast it. And then get immediately DQ'd. DQ'd from casual testing.
Aber ich glaube, das hier könnte man erst wegnehmen. Das gefällt mir. Ja.
Zumindest kein Coinflip. So.
Dann würde ich anfangen, es auszuspoilern. Nein! Nein, nie wieder. Nie wieder. Boah, voll geil. Ich kostet 30 Euro. Gibt's so selten. Das ist gekauft.
Ghost Quarter, Target, dein Turm.
So, the opponent is gonna Ghost Quarter again. Ghost Quarter is not that good against Tron because they play too many basics against Blue Tron. That is, they play too many basics. And problem of the Eldrazi player is he didn't get ahead. As the Eldrazi player here, you have to get to a sour fast or true Blightherder. And he got the Blightherder, but didn't really abuse the science enough because you can actually gain more mana than the Tron player. And then if you get to Ulamog, you just win. Usually, that is at least. And he could still do it. I mean, he's at 20 life. He still has some time. But he used 2 Ghost Quarters, and so he's down 2 lands actually. He's actually down more than 2 lands.
Dann opfer ich die geblockte. Richtig. Ja.
So I'm not sure how he lost 2 life here. Gets attacked by everything. No blocks? No, that doesn't work. What the hell did he block? No, I just don't understand how he lost 2 life.
Ja. Ich? Ja. Das mit den Tokens halt auch voll ätzend.
Oh, okay, okay. He attacked with all tokens. Okay, this is really not my fault. Because they should be using real token cards, which you can see when they get tapped. But it makes sense. He attacked with all tokens and he sacked the one which was blocked. Okay.
Also es ist kein böses im Anflug. Ich müsste ja ein Land und die Karte haben.
Fahrplan, so denkst du so, jetzt 4.
Die meisten blauen Karten habe ich ja auch. Weiß nicht, wie viele alte Karten da drin sind.
Oh, das ist echt nicht einfach. Keine Ahnung. Keine Ahnung. Ich habe hier. Na gut.
So,
Fabricate.
Blue Tron takes its time. Another Fabricate. Interesting. He might go for Expedition Map. He has a Better Skull in his hand. I think Better Skull is an okay. Or Crucible. Oh. Oh. He cannot make up his mind.
Nicht aushaben für den Better Skull.
Nur mit deutschen Karten. Nur mit deutschen Karten.
This is slow play at this point. He just cannot make up his mind. He was looking at the Mindslaver, he was looking at Better Skull, and he was looking at Crucible. He gets Platinum Angel in the end. I think I like Platinum Angel. But I think I would probably come for Better Skull or Crucible or something else. I mean, it's a tough decision. But all of these are doing something good. It's just if your opponent has removal, you know, depends how much mana you have. He doesn't have Tron right now. He doesn't have a tower. And Better Skull is kind of mana intensive because you want to bounce him and you play him, and you know.
Ja, Fitch, das haben wir jetzt schon Misplay gemacht. Ja.
But it would make it so you could equip it. I mean, certainly if you had 10 mana, you would get Better Skull, I think. And then next turn you would play Better Skull, equip, and swing. Because the Vigilance would just make it so you could attack and gain 20 life each turn, potentially. Of course, the opponent still has 2 tokens, which would kind of ruin this plan for the next few turns, but yeah. So we see a Sour. But the Sour got condescended, and he scryed his lands to the bottom. Well, I think there just was no land, so he scryed to the top. And he revealed Remand, Condescend,
Das ist
Expedition Map.
Exile. Also du kannst auch nicht, du musst. Ich krieg alle, nein, ich krieg alle Exile in der Runde. Das ist keine Bedingung, dass er die gesehen hat.
And he actually has to read the card. Yeah, so I can take every card that's in exile. It can take the island, which was exiled before. That's why it's such a good card against fetch lands, because the opponent just plays fetch land turn 1, sacks it, and then if you have turn 1 relic, you exile it. So you always usually have 2 fetch lands in exile, right? Against a fetch land deck, or like a 3-color deck. So, and then with Sour, you don't need to hit lands, because you get 2 fetch lands anyway. And if you hit 3 lands, then you can just get 5 lands, which is ridiculous. I mean,
Dann möchte ich auch eine Exile bei dir. Da musst du. Crucible habe ich ja gerade getroffen. Ne? Warte. Dann ziehe ich eine Karte. Ja.
Aber dann musst du durch mehr machen. Der hat erst noch Haste dann.
Ja, doch, geht.
And another Fortnite Seer, very strong card. There's Spatial Contortion, and he takes the Angel. Spatial Contortion is not very good
Das
here.
kann er nicht angreifen mit diesen Burn Tokens. Kann man repeal into repeal.
I think the other card was an Oblaro. There's a Better Skull, but he doesn't have enough mana to equip, but it's quite good no matter what. I can't make the people louder, that's something that's on the other end, but they're speaking German, so it wouldn't be that relevant to most viewers.
Das ist natürlich ein Problem.
I actually don't hear them right now. I used to earlier when we streamed. I don't know what happened to that. I think the microphone is just muted to my end. So I used to be able to tell you when we were talking about something funny, but yeah, I don't hear them right now. So we see the Spatial Contortion on the token, which I think is a nice play because you really want to gain some life as soon as possible. Yeah, it's actually really interesting, as when I was casting last Friday, or I think Friday it was, since I'm German too and I can understand them, I would oftentimes tell the audience that they were debating some cards, and you know, there's funny comments like somebody saying, oh, I don't know, Fulminator Mage is a totally balanced card after they got blown out, or Blood Moon is a totally balanced card, or something like that. Or the most famous, or the most fun thing is that the same player who's on the left now won by playing Kozilek, and then he basically just won because he had Kozilek, and after the game he said Kozilek isn't even that good. Kozilek is a win more card, and the game itself he had just won was an exact example that that is just not true, because he was basically hellbent, top decks Kozilek, plays Kozilek, and wins because of that. That was a fun moment. And his opponent had a really good return, had a really good answer to that, just explaining to him how insane that statement was after he had just won with playing Kozilek. So we see how the tides have turned here, 15 life to 10 life, just because he has 2 big life linkers. And we see a Dismember, but a Dismember is not that good against the Better Skull. I mean, sure you can do some damage right now, but he can equip the Better Skull on the Womka engine and still gain 10 life. And we keeps back the Blight Herder. Yeah, because he would be dead to 10 damage.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah, really nice card. Probably quite salty, quite salty. But it is true, Sour is insanely strong. Sour is incredibly strong. At least in this deck. So I would assume the line of play here is equip swing, but it might be swing, bounce, replay. I think both lines of play have their advantages and disadvantages. Equip swing, you gain the most life immediately, and you still have a blocker back, but it's really weak, I guess. Well, I guess you're weak against Ulamog both ways.
Ist doch noch Kasse. Ja, dann Seele will ich. Okay, dann einschalten.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best line. Just equip and swing. That's what he does. He goes to 17, still has a blocker, and he's only worried about Ulamog at this point, I think. Dismember doesn't really do anything. Wasting Strangler wouldn't do anything. There's a Duress, and it hits the Snapcaster, but of course Duress can't take creatures, and there's an Inquisition, and that can take the Snapcaster, but instead it's played out, and there should be a Thirst in there somewhere, and I assume that's what he's gonna cast, or at least that's what he's gonna target with the Snapcaster. He can cast at end of turn. That's what he does. 3 cards here. I see an Expedition Map, a land, and a Snapcaster, I think.
Die Tokens sind halt richtig gut gegen diese Leute.
Well, I'm not 100% sure.
Anfangen Leute davor zu werfen, das ist halt nicht so geil.
But it's really nice that he actually has another creature on the play now with the Snapcaster. Because if he equips on the Snapcaster, then suddenly he has 2 creatures which can attack, and that makes it more difficult for the opponent to block and prevent damage. He doesn't have lethal. If one creature gets through, that's not lethal basically, but still, the opponent probably doesn't want to go down to 3 life or 4 life, so we'll probably have to block both.
Okay.
Sechs Karten gewühlt und kein Land gefunden.
If the Eldrazi player gets to Ulamog, he just exiles Better Skull, exiles Wonka Engine, and the game is, turned on his head. The game would immediately swing hugely into the favor of the Eldrazi player. We see that he actually lets the Better Skull go through here. But the life gain is insane. He gains 12 life. Goes to 20. I think he should have gone to 29 instead of 30. No, I'm not there with them.
Boah, Alter, was ein Spiel, Mann. Ja, wir alle gesehen.
I'm not sure which spell he was just about to use on the Fortnite. But yeah, basically the only out was Ulamog at this point for Eldrazi. Yeah, left side is Uber. Usually when it's Blue Tron on the stream, it's Uber. And usually when it's Blue Tron being misplayed, it's Uber.
Ja, wie gesagt, ich werde es mir für nächste Woche mal. Oh, spielt der einer Crucial, Brian?
It was a Ghost Quarter on the Eldrazi Temple, I'm told.
Nee, ich hab Boris Vengeance gehört. Ja, da wird er so noch gespielt. Okay, ich muss überlegen. Ich will eigentlich das. Ich möchte alle meine Wasteland Straggler einfach rauslegen. Ich will mal testen, wie gut die beiden sind.
I really wish Uber would show us the cards he's sideboarding. Spatial Contortion, yeah, okay, he's revealing which cards he boards out. Spatial Contortion is really the card which I would also I board out usually Spatial Contortion and Remounts and Repeals. Those are the cards I board out. He only takes in 2 cards. And I think that's really weird because I bought in like 7 cards. I bought in 2 Spreading Seas, 2 Squelch, I think 1 Dismember, 2 Chalice, and that's 8 cards. So and 1 Painter's Servant actually. So his sideboard is either not tuned or not built around playing against Mono Black Eldrazi, or he just doesn't know how to board. Yeah, he probably brought in two spells. I think he's not on the Spreading Seas plan yet, but I think if he realizes just how big of a problem Eldrazi can be, he will stop playing Spreading Seas and maybe even Painter's Servant. Squelch can be good. Squelch can be really, really good against Iron and against Expedition Map, but I think you actually also need Chalice. And, well, he might not be playing Chalice, and I think that would be a mistake. But Chalice on 1 is really good against Eldrazi because they play 4 relics, Scrabbling Claw, Nihai, Spellbomb. I mean, they play a bunch of 1 mana discard, exile things. They play 1 mana discard. If they are Orzhov, they play Path. Yeah, that's probably all the 1 mana, but that's like 20 cards. Or maybe not 20, maybe 16, but still, it's a lot of cards. And I mean, you're basically just telling him 1/3 of your draws is gonna be dead draws. And no, I'm not gonna let you make me discard my most useful spells. And no, I'm not gonna give you the opportunity to cycle your relics or to exile all my stuff. It really has an impact. And I'm not gonna let you play Expedition Map and get your lands. Expedition Map is a big one, which I forgot. Urborg, no play, turn 1. And he top decks an Expedition Map, which he has to play turn 2. Playing Expedition Map on turn 2 is so awkward because you have that 1 mana open, which you're not doing anything with. And then on turn 3, oh, and there's a repeal. I don't agree with that repeal. First of all, why are you having repeal in your deck still? It's not that good. Second of all, repealing a turn 2 Expedition Map is not that amazing. Repealing a turn 1 Expedition Map is, because it really screws up the mana efficiency of turn 1 map, turn 2 crack. But turn 3 you can play map and crack at the same turn, so it's really not that efficient anymore. But I guess he was just looking to cycle the repeal and maybe gain some tempo, and I assume it worked reasonably well. So he played a Talisman, so he's ahead on mana here for a moment. Yeah, it's probably the best thing he could do with a repeal. I actually think repeal could be useful against the Science. If you have a Womka engine, your opponent has like 3 Science, you can repeal them. I mean, obviously, the repeal is going to be countered due to sacrifice, but it would be removal basically at that point against something that would stop your Womka engine from gaining life. Yeah, I understand, but from the point of view of what you want repeal usually to do, it just wasn't a good repeal. It was the best repeal he could possibly do here, yes, I agree. But, you know, if this was me, I wouldn't even be playing repeal post-board. So we see a Fort Knox here, and First for Knowledge, Fabricate, Sundering Titan, Condescend, Platinum Angel are these cards. And I think Thirst is probably the strongest card here. It really depends on the hand which the Eldrazi player has. Maybe he is scared about Condescend, then he should take Condescend by all means. But I think Thirst is probably the card you want to take the most. Just because, oh no, I think Angel is absolutely the wrong choice here. Just because your opponent had 2 artifacts in his hand, one of which he could easily discard to Thirst without really caring. Especially if Sundering Titan seems like it's not a good artifact here.
Kein Tron, wa? Ich dachte schon, da kommt der Natural Tron. Bin auf Turn.
Did he just top deck Tron? What a luck sack. Oh no, he has 2 mines and a power plant. He's lacking a tower. The way he put it, the 3 next to each other, really seemed to me like he was having Tron, but I'm pretty sure that's mine power plant. I'm not familiar with those artworks though, because I play different artwork. Uwe, I think, is one of these people who play one artwork, like they play 4 different artwork for each. So the Condescent got Inquisition, and again, I understand that he wants to sour, but first, it's okay to take a Condescent because you want to resolve the sour, actually. The thing I really don't agree with is taking the Angel, actually. So sour hits 2 islands. He drew an island, and I think 1 more land with burst. So he has at least 2 islands in hand, which is not good. A fabricate, and something that might be a snapcaster or something. It doesn't look too good. He still has outs, like Tron into fabricate, Oblivion Stone, crack Oblivion Stone, wipe the board. Certainly wouldn't be bad, but the problem is the opponent has Eye of Ugin and a ton of mana. And he just drew an Oblivion Stone, that's not too bad. But yeah, the problem really is that the opponent has a lot of mana and Eye of Ugin. So right now what would be really good would be a Spreading Seas on Eye of Ugin. Well, actually, you still need to wipe a board, so you would probably have to wipe a board first and then do that, but that would probably just be too slow because I'm counting and I'm seeing 7 mana plus I have Ugin, which means next turn probably Ulamog. Next turn probably Ulamog exiling 2 lands. And I mean, there's just so much damage on the board, he has to crack Oblivion Stone.
Wäre ein bisschen krass. Ja, ist fies. Nicht zu unterschätzen, ne? Draw. Ach, lol, ich hab vergessen, auf Turn den ja, soll ich machen? Dann zieh ich die Karte wenn nicht.
Even if he cracked Oblivion Stone here and played Spreading Seas afterwards, it still wouldn't be enough, right? The Ulamog would be tutored in response, and even though the opponent would probably be able to cast next turn, he probably has a temple. That's really all he needs. See a duress. I think that's Fabricate, Snapcaster, Remand, and Island. This should really be the end of a Tron player.
Dann nehme ich das Remand.
It's important here that he swings first. If he casts Ulamog in his first main phase, he's gonna... Oh no, he's not gonna lose Ulamog, because Ulamog is indestructible, of course. I always forget about Ulamog being indestructible.
Dann Main 2. 8 Mana. Target. Mine und Mine.
And there's no possible out I could think of for the Blue Tron player here.
Die sind im Exile, wa? Ich will mal nachfragen, den Summer ziehen.
Yes, I mean, he doesn't immediately die. He can Snapcaster block or Treasure Mage block or whatever, but just surviving one turn is not going to change that Ulamog is going to end up killing you in 2 turns by just destroying a library, even if you get to chump block every turn. Yeah.
Das ist ein Engel, ja, gut. Ich dachte, du hättest den Engel, der ist jetzt mit dem Snapcaster geblockt, gehockt, irgendwie.
And that's that. That's the 1-1. I think this was way more representative of how this usually goes. But again, I think the sideboarding is not optimal here, or the sideboard rather is not optimal for this matchup. He could have a lot of good hate cards on the sideboard, which he doesn't.
Manche Leute, die das wissen, die denken dann immer, du würdest Gift spielen. Ah, okay. So ein bisschen. 1-1. Ich habe letztens in Dülmen irgendwie im 3-0 gestanden und dann habe ich gegen Scrat gespielt und verloren. Dann kam auch Snow Covered Mountain Go. Was? Scrat ist gut. Scrat macht halt nichts gegen Combo-Decks.
Okay, I can actually hear them now.
Das ist ganz witzig. Kannst du Turn 1 Bloodmod spielen. Gegen Nausen ist das ziemlich stark. Okay, wenn du den Dream hast. Ja.
But I don't have the same audience as you guys.
Naja, klar. Aber weiß ich nicht. Also, na gut, in Nausen stimmt.
Maybe I do, I'm not sure.
Wolltest du denn eigentlich vor einer Stunde schon gehen? Keine Ahnung.
It's hard to tell what they're talking about because the sound is choppy and low volume.
Ich finde das so krass, also in wie vielen Matches RG Tron einfach, also ich glaube die Wahrscheinlichkeit, die Turn 3 Tron zu haben, ist irgendwie bei 80-90% oder so. Wenn du nicht gestört wirst. Das Deck macht ja nichts anderes. Also, ja. Das habe ich auch schon überlegt. Wo drin? Basic Island im Endeffekt. Wenn du mit den richtigen Fetchländern spielst. Ist das ein anderer Kasten? Inquisition. Ja, aber schon seit einer Stunde oder so.
Okay, we're gonna go into game 3 here. This time the Blue Tron player is on play, so maybe that's gonna make a difference here. Maybe you can get a fast chalice down, that would be good. I see a chalice in his hand, so it is a possibility. And yes, good boy.
Das hat ja schon wieder 300 Euro in. Ja, man macht damit. Ich glaube, ich mache den Hyrax und Voice 6-mal Hoch gehen.
Hast aber hohe Ansprüche, ey.
Und dann kannst du davon 30 Mal gucken. Von welchen Summe reden wir jetzt? Von den 300 Euro.
Mono Black Eldrazi guy gets an Eye of Vulcan. So now he has Urblock, Eye of Vulcan, and a Waste.
So, was macht der 5 Mana-Typ? Der bringt seine 3 Dukes mit, aber nur wenn ich 2 Karten aus processe. Das ist ein 3 Mana Yeti.
I talked before about playmats and how much I like them. I think they're really nice.
Ja, das ist richtig.
Plays a Ghost Quarter, end of turn first knowledge, drawing all the cards again, and probably discarding a Talisman or an Expedition Map. Yeah, Expedition Map seems like it's a very good discard target here, just because of Chalice on 1, and yeah. That Chalice on 1 is probably not going to be removed. There are very little ways to get rid of a Chalice. It cannot be repealed. Oblivion Stone gets rid of it. Unlikely that he's gonna pop his own Chalice though. and Ulamog gets rid of it, and I don't really think there's anything else in these two decks which could get rid of these Chalice. So he plays a Crucible, and he has a Ghost Quarter, and that could be really good. I'm not sure how many basics the Eldrazi decks play. I mean, the monocolored Eldrazi decks should surely play more than the two-colored. But I could totally see that they only play like 2 Swarms and 1 Waste, or like 2. Yeah, I think somebody earlier said they only play 1 Waste, and probably like 1 or 2 Swarms, I would think. But it might actually be a lot of Swarms. I just don't know. So, but once he runs out of basics, it's gonna be very hard. And the Ghost Quarter line of play, I think it only makes sense if you know that he doesn't have a lot of basics. Otherwise, I just wouldn't choose to do it. Because you're down a land, right? He gets a basic, and you lose the Ghost Quarter. Sure, you can replay the Ghost Quarter, but you're still down a land. I mean, you can negate this effect by playing the Talisman, which he did, but yeah, the Crucible Ghost Quarter line. I think you want to go all in on it, or you only want to do it when you're prepared to go all in on it. So use the Ghost Quarter every turn, and you only want to do that if you're sure your opponent only has like 2 or 3 basics. And he seems to be going all in on it, using it again, and there's immediately another Swarm. Didn't even have to look very far into his deck, so I'm not sure if this is actually the right line of play here to commit on the Ghost Quarter. Because if his opponent just hits land drops now and gets to his Sour, that would be a real problem. I mean, that would be game losing probably for Trump there.
Ich denke mal, wenn du eine 2-Color-Version spielen würdest, wäre auch schon effektiver. Komm mit 7. Ja. Nicht 4.
And I mean, of course, there's already 4 damage threat on the board. So in 4 turns, he might be dead. So if there's 2 more basics, then the Ghost Quartering isn't really doing anything, on not much for 4 turns. I mean, sure, you're taking Ayahuga and you're taking Warborg, but you're replacing them with basic lands, which still produce mana, which still can cost stuff. And now the opponent has 6 mana. Among them, I'm never quite sure if it's Ghost Quarter or Temple, but I think it's a Ghost Quarter in the middle. And that's really awkward here now. The Sour hits 2 lands, 3 lands.
Es ist so lächerlich.
And Uwe is upset. He is quite salty. He just said this is ridiculous. Well, maybe not quite salty, but he said this is ridiculous after revealing 2 lands. And I think what is ridiculous is that he went looks that was just a mistake in the end. Just too many basics against that green front, or any deck that plays maybe 1 basic, 2 basics, that would have been probably a good line. But now his opponent has way more lands than he does. His opponent has 9 damage on the board. And what do you have? You have 9 lands. It's ridiculous.
Main 2?
Oder wäre Trio, der noch jetzt gemacht. Try to draw ist gemacht. Genau. Und auch cool ist auch Honda. Von der Kasse? Ja,
Ghost Quarters. If he Ghost Quarters one of his lands, which the opponent is controlling, who gets the basic?
Top.
It's a search for basic. I mean, I would only have to read Ghost Quarter to know for sure if it says controller or owner, but I don't have a Ghost Quarter here, so I'm assuming somebody knows. I assume the Eldrazi player will get
Du kannst ja alles targeten. Alles im Feld.
plays Sunring Tide. Very interesting. Not gonna completely destroy the opponent, but it's gonna. I assume it's gonna target his own lands.
Ja,
so he gets them back.
Sagt er, each basic land type, dann zerstört ihr meine Wastes. West geht auf jeden Fall. Du hast nur dann alles ist
Wow, this is actually something I did not know. You can target.
Nee.
Oh, he's targeting it as a swamp? No, actually, since wastes are a type of basic, you can
Ich
take.
komme in Minecraft.
Wow,
Sehr gut.
this
Ja,
is
das
something
Troller.
new. I'm really happy I learned something new.
Draw.
You can target waste summoning time.
Das ist so
And
lächerlich jetzt.
not to destroy
Yes.
lands. And he has Tron now, of course.
Komm jetzt.
So he could potentially do a lot of crazy stuff
Ja,
next turn.
deswegen. Ich dachte, du hast noch was. Warte mal.
Except that because even if he blocked the tower, he can still not have. He does not have a snap castle.
Mal so eine Noob-Frage nebenbei. Die ungewandelten
Yeah, I think
Mana-Kosten von
going
Phyrexian
was.
Mana sind trotzdem ein Mana, ne? Das will man gar nicht, weil guck mal, was ich gezogen habe. Hey, Relic.
I mean, I think about it a little bit. It really depends on how many basic.
Nachdem mir die Länder genommen hat.
And also if he already has a clock on the field. If he doesn't have a clock on the field, and he doesn't play a lot of basics, then you can do that kind of
Ja,
play. But
hol der RG-Tron und rasier mich.
not if he's attacking you and it's just.
Womit Sideboard wird dein Matchup besser? Für mich, wenn ich gegen ihn spiele. Ja, der Lock war einfach nicht so gut. War das jetzt 2-1 oder? 2-1 für dich. Puh. Hast du noch?
Ja.
Oh, auch schon 1. Ich würde voll gerne mal Fisch spielen. Hat nicht jemand übelst Fisch spielen? Meinst du, ich darf
Waste
mal Fisch
cannot be
spielen?
chosen as a basic land type.
Oder spiel gerade selber?
I totally believe you, but that's not what
Das
they
cool.
did.
Das würde ich nämlich gerne mal spielen, weil
And
das ist das
no,
nächste Deck, was bei mir
guys
irgendwann
just look at
aufstehen würde.
what some
Da
Titan
fehlen mir nämlich
says.
nur noch 4 Masters.
Choose a land of each basic land type. Yeah.
Komm, dann spielst du Fische. Ich spiel mal das andere
Um,
Deck. Ja.
so the question is waste just the basic land, which produces